Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so first thing is we're going to be talking about knife defense. So this means the bad guy has a knife and is attacking me. And we're also talking about situations where I'm using a knife for the purpose of self-defense. Okay, so in this kind of scenario where the knife is going to be involved, one of the things that I want to make very, very clear, and I already said this before, was that in the Filipino martial arts, the level 1 that you're learning, think of what you're learning, the angles of attack and things like the Heaven 6, right? That's pretty much done in medium range. That's the way it's being taught when you first learn it. Therefore, the skills that you're learning there is called kill or be killed. Okay? Why? Because if you try to do these skills like as in a fight, and in this case, if I have a knife, they have a knife, like in a knife fight, I'm trying to do the angles of attack and also the Heaven 6 in medium range, what I'm doing here is more than likely it's going to go to an exchange. Just look at boxing, okay? That's what I'm talking about. It's going to be an exchange. And if you do an exchange when knives are involved, I don't care if you win, there's a very, very high chance that you're both going to be really, really injured badly and you're both going to be messed up. And it just doesn't make sense to do things that way. So then the only way that it really makes sense is kill or be killed. And what that means is you're attacking them before they even get a chance. You are doing a surprise attack. So anytime I see a instructor teaching this knife stuff and they're teaching kill or be killed, it makes sense to me in that sense. All right. Now, I'm not talking about like legal issues because you're going to be in big trouble if you do that. You better be able to back up, and have good reasons of why you did what you did. Because if not, I mean, you can end up in prison for a long time. So it's not something to take lightly. It's not something to be macho about. You really want to avoid this with everything you got. But sometimes you just absolutely can't. And this is for that very small percentage of a situation. Very small. It's very difficult to justify this. But like I said, this is kill or be killed. That's what you're learning in level 1 Filipino martial arts. Now, I said to you guys before that in Filipino martial arts, the philosophy was if you want to learn how to defend against a knife, you have to learn how to use a knife. So if you look at it that way, we are first learning how to use a knife. Then that means the true purpose is we really want to learn how to defend against the knife. And so now when we're going into the defense portion, what do they teach? And a lot of instructors that are trying to teach the realistic stuff, this is what they teach. That when the person coming at you with a knife, no matter what you do, some kind of parry, block, or grab, right? That it don't take much for them to go around to turn the blade and cut you up. So in other words, none of that stuff works, okay? So they're coming here and you block it and then they just do this and you're cut, okay? Or come here and they block it and then they could just turn it around and here, okay? So they're pretty much showing you that nothing is really going to work, right? And their conclusion, and this is what's been taught in Filipino martial arts for hundreds of years, is defang the snake. So they teach defang the snake. And the way it's traditionally taught is you evade, so you move out of the way, and then you counter onto their arm. So if the knife is coming, you evade, you get out of the way, and you have a checking hand just to keep, just in case it gets through, you still have this backup, and you cut them. Okay, so boom, right here. I cut, and I have this check just in case, right? So it's the evasion, it's the check, and you made that cut. And after that cut, you go into kill or be killed. So after you defang the snake, okay, so boom, you just defang the snake, boom, boom, right? Now it's kill or be killed, so you go in and boom, 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 you finish them, right? That is what's traditionally taught. In the dojo, that works great. Why? Because I just did a defang the snake and their arm is cut, and we have seen the video clips of people demonstrating what a simple slash can do. And whether you've seen it on a water bottle or a cardboard box or against a piece of meat, you can see that it could be devastating. So you just did that to their arm, okay? You just did that. They're going to be stunned if they're still holding their knife after that. And then, you go in for the finish, right? In real life, I believe that, and not just I believe, I've heard stories where people didn't even know that they were cut or stabbed until way later. Okay, so that tells me that this slash is so fast and everything's happening so quickly in real life with the adrenaline, and the person may be determined, they're not going to stop. And if they don't stop, and I've trained myself to do the finish right after defang the snake. So I just did defang the snake just like textbook, but I did it in real life. Boom, I cut them on the arm and they don't stop, and I go for the finish, right? I go for the finish and they're not stopping. That's an exchange. I just put myself into an exchange situation. So that's something you really, really, really got to take into consideration. And I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that Filipino martial arts is wrong. No, I am on the side of Filipino martial arts. I am saying that when you train that, you cannot forget the importance of timing. So this is the same thing that we see all the time in boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. You hurt the opponent, okay, or you land a good shot on the opponent and you think you hurt the opponent, so you go in for the finish. You still have to be very, very careful because you don't want to expend all of your energy there because you may not be able to finish the opponent. Or if you think they're hurt and you go in to finish and they may counter you back. And we've seen it time and time again. So timing is important, whether it's street or sport. Timing is super important. So if you're always training yourself to, after you defang the snake, boom, that you're going to go into a finish, think again. Okay, think again. It's better to be observant and go, are they stunned? Are they hurt? I see they're in shock. Now I can go in. Or they keep attacking. Therefore, I need to keep protecting. I can't counter yet. I got to wait it out. So that's very, very important. The other thing is I'm already leading into it, is when they come in with an attack, I'm able to defang the snake in the dojo, no problem, because it's one attack. In real life, it might be combos coming after me. So if it is combos coming after me, then footwork. So I evade and then I'm ready to finish. If you're always in the habit of that is, if they continue their attack, I'm here, and then they continue, I'm going to be really off balance. So I'm going to get run over. So therefore, rather than here to immediately spring back and attack, here to keep escaping, to keep evading, I would say is more basic, more important. And for me, that's why I really, really like the force-to-force block, is because defang the snake at the end of the day is a counter. And the force-to-force block is something that is not as desirable, it's not as ideal, but it's way more basic. And if you don't have the basics down, and if you don't understand what comes first, In other words, you don't understand the priority of things and the hierarchy of things. It would be like doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and all you know is the back mount. You don't have the guard position. You don't have the mount position. You don't have the side position. You don't have the other positions. You just have the back mount. Yes, back mount is awesome. It's the best place to be. But you need the other position, and you have to understand the importance of each one. And in that sense, probably a more realistic is to have a good guard, because against a tough opponent, you're not going to be on the mount. You're not going to be on top controlling them. They're probably on top of you. So then a guard starts to become important in that sense, for self-defense more so. Okay, if you're a fighter, maybe not, because maybe you have really good hands and you could dominate with your hands and end up on top. And then when you do, you control from the top position, and that might be your game plan, and you might be very, very, very good at that, But in a self-defense situation against someone that might be much bigger than you, that's going to catch you off guard and put you in bad positions, that in that sense, a guard can make more sense. So in the same manner of thinking, I'm saying the force-to-force block is much, much more basic and much, much more defensive, and it might be a lot more useful. I'm not saying always go for the force-to-force block. If you can, go for Defang the Snake or go for something better. Might work for you, but it's good to know the bottom line and look for opportunities rather than only have the best move that you may not even be able to use or pull off. Okay. The other example I have is, let me once again go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There's a counter for every technique. So the rear naked choke, the counter for that is you cross their ankles in front of you and it's a double ankle lock. Okay. So imagine that's the move. That's a counter move to the rear naked choke. So go to your, commercial BJJ studio, let everyone take your back and go for the rear naked choke, and you go for that counter. I guarantee you it's going to have a low success rate, okay? A very low success, because it's very difficult to do. Very, very hard, okay? So this is Defang the Snake is the same way compared to the force-to-force block. It's a lot harder to do. So I just want you guys to understand that. So people that are going with the Defang, I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, it's taught in Filipino martial arts. It's one of our most important principles, Defang the Snake. But I'm just saying, coming from a force-to-force block perspective into a Defang the Snake is very, very different from someone who only does Defang the Snake. And when I talk to people and they say, yeah, I'm going to destroy their limb, to me, that's someone that has only done Defang the Snake or only done destruction type of training, and they don't understand the more basic fundamental defenses. So that's what I want you guys to think about. And so that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.